they were like, this is no longer ordinary. So they decided to call in the pastors, right? Immediately they came out, they saw Adeboye, Oyedeko, Kumuyi, and others who are just coming back from a crusade. So he approached them and said, please, could you please come in and pray for this baby? You know, he's been crying and this is no longer like safe. We've taken him to the hospital, they won't take him. So immediately they walked in, right? The pastors, they hold hands and they decided to start a deliverance prayer. But the baby's cry won't let them do anything. So they now say, you know what? Bring this child to our next crusade, which is taking place tomorrow. Then we can really, but for now we can't do anything. So they left. So when Adeboye decided to consult the Islamic clerics to see if they could do anything to help this child. Now they came as well, like a popular cleric was invited. So they prayed and prayed, but the baby won't let them pray. So they're like, you know what? You might need to bring this child to us, like we can really do it in a bigger way. So they left. Same way, same thing goes for, same thing went for the traditionalist. However, it was the traditionalist, the oracle man who came in and, consulted the oracle, and the oracle told the truth. What did the oracle say? The oracle said, there was this guy called Alimi Kogbodoku. Now, Alimi Kogbodoku, right, a repairer down the streets, was a man who actually killed himself when the situation of Nigeria couldn't be bearable for him anymore. So different regimes, he attempted to kill himself. So the first one, right, things were not really moving well. So he decided to go and jump into the area's electricity transformer. It was around that time the NEPA took light, so he didn't die. So during the Babangida time, according to him, he decided to also, things were like terrible. So he went to go and jump on the Third Mainland Bridge. By the time he landed on a boat passing under the bridge. So he escaped, right? So then Abacha came, suffering and smiling and all of that. So then Obasanjo came. He said it was when Obasanjo came that things really got bad and what have you. So it was one day that they decided, they just started smelling, they started smelling a very odious odor from his apartment, right? So when they opened the door, they found him hung. He killed himself. So it was a very terrible one for the entire street. So they buried him, hoping that, maybe next time he can choose a better destiny. The oracle consultant said, fine. That's exactly what this oracle just said. That Alimi Kogbodoku, that killed himself to go and choose a different destiny, that he was tired of Nigeria. He was expecting to be born in maybe America, Canada, Europe, Asia, all these places, but not Nigeria. But unfortunately, right, when he was born, before he opened his eyes, he started hearing, this can't be Nigeria again. No, it can't be Nigeria again. Then he was hearing it on the radio. Soldiers have just killed about 5 people in Ojota. Armed robbers have also robbed a bank and they've just killed a pregnant woman, right? The Nigerian president, like all the normal stories that you just be like, which can contribute this for God's sake? So he started hearing all of that. He was like, this can't be Nigeria. Nigeria to be Mizio. This cannot, okay. So when he opened his eyes as a baby, just a few minutes old baby, right there on the ceiling, there stood the ceiling fan. And that's very symbolic because that's exactly the same ceiling fan he hung himself with, like similarly, you know, like ceiling fan. So when he opened his and he saw the slip, I was like, so Nigeria, they bomb me again. I would rather die. So the way herbalist now said, the Ifa Oracle consultant said, you know what, Mr. Gbenga, don't do anything. There's nothing anybody can do. The child would have to cry to death. You get what I mean now? So it is so similar that nobody is spared. And if everyone has a choice, including babies, they would not spend a day in trying to survive Nigeria. It's written all over our faces, including children. You see all over their faces, the whole stress, the whole thing. You see some children, they just be like, Selma, what did this boy feel they go through for this age? How could a 6-7-year-old be like so in Nigeria? They touch everybody. Some guys said they are not going to represent Ekiti in the National Sports Festival. And so they sent police to go and arrest them. Police went to go and arrest people that decided they are not volunteering to represent Ekiti. Don't be like saying that by force they must represent them. So imagine, police will just be like, you are charged for not representing Ekiti. I don't know, like, so their friends made this video.
What the heck is this now?
Just keep quiet. Let us be the witness.
See me, they're beating me. Why? I swear to God, this one.
Come on. Come on, camera.
Like, I don't know what they are going to charge them for. I know they do. Come and do. I know they do. Now they are asking for the PFN. No, PFN is Pentecostal. No, PFN. AFN or something. Athletic Federation of Nigeria, something like that. So please, buy for us. We are not like registered to Ekiti. It is true that, we are athletes from Ekiti, but we don't have anything to do with, nobody say we agreed to go and represent Ekiti and change our mind. We were not involved. They just came in and then they packed them. That's the story. And that's Nigeria. It can very be like, it can sound so unbelievable sometimes because you can't imagine, like, how is that even possible? Nigeria, it's possible, Baba. Possibility is not, so no wonder if they ask you, Ogbeni, Jackie Chan, don't play yourself, Nigeria. They have to take it serious like this before you get arrested. Like this NYSC guys.
So that you can listen to the news.
The lady don't do mistake. The lady in the front she mistake.
All of that for the service of Nigeria, where indeed they are all still going to be served. Now, let's talk politics a bit. I don't know how many of you who watched the exchanges between Rufai and Lere Olayinka, all because of what Dele Momodu said on that same channel yesterday. So let's roll it back. Dele Momodu, who spent like about an hour on Arise News yesterday, discussing the state of things in Nigeria, including what Tinubu and his gang have done to Nigeria. Then the opposition, then PDP. You see, how PDP became polarized so much because of the personal ambitions of individuals and all that. Dele Momodu then reminisced on what led to the departure of Peter Obi from PDP, like, which is kind of like a true story. According to Dele Momodu, Atiku was not really interested in running in 2023. In fact, he was one of those who were strongly in support of the power returning to the South, but with a clause. And that clause was, as long as PDP will be zoning into the eastern part of Nigeria, southeast. That's the only way he's going to agree to this this southern power returning to the South. And somehow it was kind of like accepted by a section of their group, except for with the Wiki, who opposed it. It didn't just oppose it. It went as far as frustrating Peter Obi out of that place. And listen, don't pretend that you didn't know how all that played out. Oh, I can remind you, if you have short memory or your Stockholm syndrome is at the advanced level, incurable, because there are some incurable Stockholm syndrome. If I do like this now, won't you say I'm sleeping? I mean, I'm pretending as well, right? Now imagine if you walk in while I'm like that. Mayegun, Mayegun, Mayegun. That's why the Yoruba says, you can only wake someone who is asleep. You can't wake anyone who pretends to be sleeping. And it does soon anji aiji akwiroro. When it comes to when it comes to the deliberate, intentional, I want to use wickedry. I've been a crookedry, crooked, right? There is no excuse. There is no way of explaining it away. But somehow, right? With the Wiki and his gang, because I saw some of them, with the Wiki said, in fact, he actually went to this their PDP delegate, whatever, in Anambra State, Peter Obi's state. And he told them that he can't win. He cannot win. You know he cannot win. He doesn't have the money. Give me the power. Give me the power. Give me the power to go and face APC. He cannot win. Of course, he believed in so much money, which Peter Obi at the time said he was not willing to play ball. That's the excuse that was the explanation of Dele Momodu. But Lere Olayinka, a gutter boy, all right, is like a political jobber, and give that to him. He's also a criminal, by the way, because after working for Lere, Babaladi Ekiti, he wasn't the only person that got arrested, right? I'm talking about Lere, who happened to be Lere's boss. Lere too was also arrested, and he was tried. And guess what? For what? For theft. For stealing. That's exactly what it's called. For stealing. Now all of them dip their hand in whatever they could steal from Ekiti State when they had the chance. Now, there is another chance, though. But it was Dele Momodu's, what he said, were they like figment of his imagination? Lere came for him straight and said, Dele Momodu is just an errand boy for Atiku. In this 2023, in the last 2023 charade, Dele Momodu personally cashed out 500 million naira from Atiku. That's a lot of money. So let's go to what he said and what Lere said. He said, I say, he said, and all that. Okuna used 2 years here.
They should stop scamming Nigerians.
Okay, let's talk about Atiku, because you made quite a point where you said he's a consummate Democrat, to quote you directly. And I want to link that to the issue of ideology, because fundamentally the ideology around the PDP always focused on representation, inclusivity, ensuring the North and South are represented in an equitable manner. But some might argue that Atiku has been a stumbling block to that. So it's interesting that you're calling him the consummate Democrat. I want to see, how do you reconcile that? Because some other PDP chieftains are saying that Atiku should go, just the same way Wike should go, Atiku should go as well, because he's part of the problem. Why is it that his ambition should determine the direction of the party? That's what they're saying.
His ambition has never determined the direction of the party.
So it's okay for him to be a perennial presidential candidate.
It is the easiest, it is the easiest question for me to answer. PDP does not have problem with North-South. PDP fielded General Obasanjo 1999 to 2007. Thereafter, Yar'Adua came and unfortunately passed on while in power. And Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, a perfect gentleman, came on board to complete their first term. Then he contested his own. So that's 1 + 8 of Obasanjo, that's 9 years. After that, Jonathan did another 4 years. That was 13 years. Okay? And he completed that in 2015. So, and they still gave him a chance to contest again, which he lost to Buhari. So, had he won that election, PDP would have had Southerners for 17 years out of 24 years. None of you remembers. People try to confuse us by telling lies. So PDP, I don't know about APC or any other party, PDP does not have problem. People say it's supposed to be 8 years, not 8 years. In which constitution? And fortunately, Dr. Abati is a lawyer. He should come and tell us. It was the same wicked people complaining about North-South that brought the committee that threw our party primary open. That's why I was able to buy a form. I bought a form. Because at that time, Atiku had told them that if they will cede power to the Southeast, then it will make sense to him. But if it will still be a rotation between just a few zones, he will not support it. He wanted them to cede power to the Southeast. But because Wike had already disqualified himself by saying he's not an Igbo man, he says he's from South-South, he's not interested in Igbo or anything. So, and they succeeded in frustrating Peter Obi out of the party. So the course was clear for Nyesom Wike. There was nobody who had the capacity. You must give it to him. And I like to say it all the time. Damn good guy. You know, projects man. That's why we used to call him Mr. Project. But always angry. Now, why did they not pick him? The same man who is complaining about North-South was ready to be vice president. Let him come out and deny that he never planned to be vice president to Atiku.
Okay, Prof. I said Prof.
No, I will claim
maybe you go back one day to
yes.
academia and become a professor. Look, there is an unwritten consensus. It's even written that North versus South divide is a major.
Try, you won't know. I remember when Buhari came on. Oh, Buhari can never win election in Nigeria. Oh, he was a dictator. Oh, he was a tyrant. Why did Buhari make it that time? Necessity. Necessity is always the mother of invention. it will not happen until it has been tried and tested. And so let's see what happens. Let me tell you, I have a theory, and the theory is simple, that Tinubu can only be countered this time by a northerner. Any southerner telling you, I want to contest against Tinubu, is going to waste his time.
No, but Tinubu doesn't want to leave the position.
No.
He wants a second term.
And so that's what I'm telling you.
So, and the PDP,
we want him there. And the PDP, well,